very proud of this. I think what I am is because of these 3 years in Delhi University. It's the most amazing time that I ever think of in my life. Till date, I think I can only count and tell you of the days and experiences I've had of these 3 years. So it's very important that you feel proud of wherever, whatever you are at. I am very proud, and hence I put this because this is my introduction. I would like to be known as a student of Hindu college for the 3 years that I studied here, beyond anything else I did in my life. So this is who I am, and this is a bit Skilani. This is like some 10 years back, and I used to be funny, but yeah. So this is Bits Bilani. Has anybody been to Bits Bilani campus here? You did the Oasis Festival. So what were you participating in? What were you
I was participating in the quizzes that they were.
I just went to visit my friend. And
so you had fun basically,
yes,
no competition. What about you?
I went for the football competition.
And what happened with that?
We lost.
No problem. So when we were at Bits Bilani, I was heading the choreography team, the 2006, 2005 fest, the third year of my life in the college. And I was president, and we were a team of 13 people. So 11 were on stage and 2 were just supporting us. And then there were a couple of more people who just went, like who just came along with us because they wanted to have fun. And we guys got qualified, and so there are 2 rounds. One is the qualification round, and then there's a final round. So we guys were qualified, and we were really applauded by the teachers, and they said you guys are so good and everything. And we actually gave an audition like in a classroom like this. That's the kind of auditions people had there. And then the entire night, the entire gang was just chilling, talking, we were enjoying, and then suddenly the next morning they changed the timings of the final performance, and we had no idea that we had to be on stage in the next morning. None of us had slept and all, so we obviously didn't do, we lost. So I think one big learning that I had here, that never get complacent. You win once, you have to keep winning again and again. You can't sit back and say, we are good and that's it. You don't know what happens tomorrow. You may be good today, but you may not be doing the same thing tomorrow. So you have to be on your toes and at your best all the time. But yeah, this was one of the best memories I've had. That's my choreography team. All of them are doing very well in life. Some of them are established dancers as well. And then that's my graduation day. I don't know why I understand these problems. I was telling Anushri, when I was Hindu, I was heading the placement society. In the third year, we didn't have the seminar room on at that time, which I'm sure some of you know there's a seminar room in Hindu, right, next to the photocopier shop. So we didn't have a seminar room. So we used to have sessions in physics lab, chemistry labs, because they were big places, that's it. There was no other place we could have these things. I had to struggle with projectors, and so I exactly know these kind of challenges. But can we get this on? Switching on. This is my graduation day, and all of them are friends for life. So it's very important that you always stay with each other. Life ahead is only tough. You find the so-called professional world, but what the people that know you today, who stand by you today, are always going to be with you forever. Because they've seen you grow up, and so you should always keep your support system with you. So yeah. My journey post Delhi University. So I want to talk about being a dreamer. How many of you, I'm sure everybody dreams, but how many of you remember and are very, very particular about, this is what I thought of today. Anybody who's very, very focused and has something that they really want to, something very strong in their head that they want to achieve. It could be anything. It could be playing for Indian football. It could be anything.
I want to join army.
You want to join an army? Anybody else? Yes?
Be in a movie.
Be in a movie? Oh, awesome. I also wanted to do that. Hopefully, maybe not in the right way, but maybe doing a guest lecture in a movie like this. Anybody else?
I want to publish a book.
You want to publish a book? That's so cool. when I was young, I used to dream of being a teacher. And somewhere down the line, I know I'm going to be that in the bigger picture. And I think I am that in the bigger picture because I think what you learn, you need to go out there and talk about. It's very important to dream. So, a small request: go back home, think of something that really, makes you feel on top of the world. It could be something like, when you put on music and you feel like dancing. That is something that makes you happy. It's important to have a dream. Go back, take up a small piece of paper, or now you have internet and emails and everything. Put it down somewhere and keep it aside. It's very important. And I'm sure you will, when you go back, you'll realize there's so many things I feel like doing in life, but I've never thought of it. So I think it's very important to be a dreamer, and I think I always was one. It could be 10,000 things. When I was in Hindu, my only dream was that time to beat LSR in choreography. And we did that in LSR. I mean, I'm sure nobody's from LSR, but it doesn't matter, you all have these colleges that you like or you don't like, and you have people that you want to do, you have things to do. So when I was in college, and we did that. So I think it was pretty awesome. And then when you grow, so you keep growing, you keep having more dreams. So it's not like you have a dream and you have to stick on to it. You can improvise on things that you want in life. You could figure out what more you want, or you could have multiple things that you want to do. So yeah, this is very important to me. Life without dreaming is a life without meaning. Very important. So the worries after college, job, studies, what to do, what not to do. How many of you have work experience? Some work experience. What kind of work experience do you have now?
I was in Accenture for almost 1 year. I was in software engineering for developing.
So then, how did you end up in?
I always wanted to do MBA, and then in that particular year I got a good score.
So MBA, basically MBA.
Yeah.
It could be anything in it.
Yeah, anything. I
So
didn't
you
decide.
don't know what to actually. What about somewhere out there? I don't know this place.
So I was an system engineer in TCS,
Okay.
and I wanted to cut short my, I was going at a pretty slow pace. I wanted to do something that would exceed my pace.
So MBA is the one that exceeds your pace. Are you feeling that that's happened?
That has happened.
It has happened. Awesome. Anybody know? No, somebody said they worked, right? You worked, right? Where did you work?
I work at ZF Associates as Business Operations Associate and Senior Associate in Gen Part Restaurant. So I think the work culture there, the people around is what motivated me to go towards HR.
Awesome. Great. So we have a mix, engineers and some workers, some freshers. So I think there's no problem of doing an MBA or anything that you end up doing, but I think it's going to be better. It's much more enjoyable when you know why you do something. I think I hope everybody's seen this movie for 3 Idiots, right? There's a dialogue in this movie that engineer who is in the engineering पूरा engineering पढ़ते हैं फिर MBA करते हैं फिर जाके बैंक में नौकरी करते हैं. So I don't know. I mean, nobody has a problem with that. I mean, this is absolutely fine in life. You make decisions, you make choices, some right, some wrong. But my only point is, what I believe, before you choose anything that you wish to do, you should somewhere in your heart know why is that one thing you want to do. And that could be something that really drives you. If you want to study a subject, and you want to just study and you want to have full command over that particular subject, then just do that. Don't think, iske baad kya hoga, because knowledge is never a waste. But if you aspire for something and you want to do something else, and you are studying something else, it may not be the right mix for you. Like when I did my MBA, right after Delhi University, 3 years of college here, I was 20 years old and I went to do an MBA. I think wrong decision of my life. I did an MBA because I thought, I wanted to join my father. I always thought he worked very hard. I always wanted to be with him and run the show with him because I've seen him work so hard and I felt that, it's important to take his dream to the next level. That was my dream. And I thought, if I don't study now, I may just never end up doing masters. And it's so important to have a master's degree. So lost when you don't have a master's degree, you're just a bachelor's. So I gave my cat while dancing in Hindu all the time. I was in the auditorium throughout and I had my cat exam somewhere in the middle. And luckily things happened, marks happened, the interview happened. I got my I got my shortlist and everything. And I was like, now what? So I chose to do that. But when I got there, I had people with 6 years work ex, 5 years work ex, 3 years work ex. And I was the student from Delhi University who forgot how to sit in a class for 1.5 hours. I had, like right after school, I don't know if you guys have sat for like 2-hour lessons after school. I mean, maybe engineers did in their colleges, but Delhi University, become honest, sorry, we were always outside, and not something that I'm proud of, but because I think, that's how you come to college, you want to do 10,000 things. I wanted to do 10,000 things. So when I got to my MBA, I was like, sitting front row, because I wanted to sit in the front row. I was this enthu kid, I wanted to make my mark out there because everybody was so senior and everything. And I was dozing off in the front seat. Statistics class was going and I didn't know what I was doing. I realized until date, personal regret, I should have done my MBA after 3 to 4 years of work experience. I could have applied so much more to my studies, what I did today. I still aspire to do another executive MBA someday. Hopefully, it will happen to one of the Ivy Leagues. Let's see. I want to keep aspiring. As I said, keep dreaming. It's somewhere out there. The right time, the right opportunity comes. I may do it, may not do it. But yes, I think I realized at that point of time that it's so important to know why you're doing something. And the same reasons that time people did an MBA because they said, my CV looks good, but if there's an MBA, I'll get a better job. I'll get a jump in my salary. Those things are very temporary in life. What you do in the longer term is very important. There are people who started right after graduation with one company today, and for the next 10 years they've stuck to the company and they've grown immensely. And then companies have sent them to do MBAs overseas and stuff, so you don't know what works. The only thing that works is how much are you enjoying what you're doing. Because if you're enjoying, you're giving it your best. When you give your best, automatically stuff happens. Right? So I think I wanted to talk about this one thing that there are a lot of things that people take off after college, and so I think it's very simple. Find where your heart is and just go for it. This is what I did after my MBA. My college, and the heavy dose of MBA, and it was fine. I passed with decent results, but I think knowledge-wise, I still have those case studies with me, and I still have those videos, and I keep telling myself, someday I want to read all of that. That never came. There are 10,000 things to do, but I think some more years I would have learned a lot. I got this quote I wanted to put here: life was meant for good friends and great adventure. You do whatever in life, you gotta do these two things. Agree? Disagree? Agree. Yeah. It's very important to have stories to talk about when you grow a little older. You have to talk about some random story with your life. Those could be, they should be random and not absurd. So things that you feel very proud and feel it's like your possession, and this is my story, this is what I did, this is how my life went by. And that's what your friends and adventures are all about. I've traveled close to about 32 countries now, and I've lived in 7 cities already in India while setting up my offices, and I have so many stories to tell about these adventures. I've had the most craziest experience overseas, I've had the most craziest times at work, I've had the most distressed times when I have actually not known which way to move around, but it's always been an adventure. If that's not there, I will not be so happy here, right? Like you asked me how does it feel to be a CEO, I think it's great because I have adventures and I have some really good people who are around. You cannot single-handedly succeed. So when I started, the mind is everything what you think it is. So I put more quotes and things that is like what I reflect of my life in these presentations. So there's no yarn, there is no HR knowledge, there are no lectures and impresses people that what is organization culture, what is this. I don't want to talk about that. If you want me to, tell me, but I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about what has impacted my life. So this is something I have as my iPads. When I open my iPad, I see this. This is big. Yes. So every day I read this, and I really believe in this. What you think you are is what you actually do. If you think you can work 18 hours, you can work 18 hours. If you think you can get up at 6 a.m. and exercise and be healthy, you can do that. There's nothing else going to stop you except yourself. If you want to be in army, you can do that. There's nobody else who's going to tell you, or nobody else who's going to do whatever. You can. So it's very, very important. Something that I read every day. I keep telling myself, I have to keep exceeding what I'm going to do. This helps. This is just a small thing that I've told you what I did for last night. When I did MBA, joined PMR. So when I joined my dad in 2007, I don't want to give too much detail into what the company is because it's not important. But yeah, what we do, I'm just going to talk about a little bit what we do. So we are a relocation specialist. When I got into this business in 2006, and I told people, I'm joining my dad, he's into moving and he does household goods, packing and moving. People is like, truck wale ho, transport wale ho, go down hai aapka. And I used to be so upset, what the hell, this is a proper business and there is a proper process of doing this. But the world outside thought it's the most stupid decision I took, that being an MBA, I could get into a levers, I could get into a bank, I could do some very hotshot marketing job, and I ended up getting into an unorganized setup where I had my packers were the laborers. I used to deal with these people. Because what we do is when people shift, when people get transferred to another location through a company or through a contract with somebody, we do their entire shifting. So we pack their household and shift to the next house. It could be within India, it could be within the city, it could be overseas. When I joined, my dad had a very small setup. We were a team of close to 35 to 40 people in India. And when I got in, I had no idea. The people were like, oh, it's the boss doctor, she's going to do her thing, and she's going to sit in a cabin and she's going to do things. I think it's so important to lead the way. Because for me, it was like this young girl, especially girl, young, boss, knowledge. I was almost there, and I'm very, very, I'm very full of life. I think I cannot sit idle. I cannot sit and say, okay, this is done, so life is done. I have to keep doing a lot of things. If you give me a task and I'm done with it, I'm like, now what? I need to do something else. Some of those kind of people. So when I joined, we were at a turnover of 2 crores, and today we are close to 40 in the last 9 years. All of this, of course, has happened with only one thing being, because I was a dreamer. The only reason why this has happened is because I believed I could do anything that I wanted to do. We have 500 plus people now. We have offices in 13 locations. Travel, I just talked about how I traveled. I was awarded as the best women leader by Business Today this year. Sorry, last year. We are already 16. And I have also nominated committee heads for some of the international organizations that are part of this industry. And yes, I was featured by Young Turks, CNBC, TVN, and we're the only relocation company or an unorganized setup that has been so far recognized. Also, we are not yet funded, so we are not these fancy startups who do a lot of things today and then suddenly you see them doing nothing. So that's something I want to talk about also once we go a little further. Anybody wants to ask me anything, just in case? And I put this because it's just something that I think I can say that these are my stories. It's important to talk about your story. Challenges is what I'm going to talk about slightly. Being a young boss, you can start at whatever age you are. If you look at, have you heard of this company, Oyo Rooms? Yes. Founded how many years old? 22. Yeah, I met him when I spoke to him as well. Fantastic job. I think you don't need to reach to do your own thing. Or so when I say boss, I put this word boss because it could be perceived very differently. For me, my boss is my client. If he's not happy with me, there's no point, right? So everybody should have a boss that sort of controls their processes and work. It's not a bad thing to have a boss. It's not a bad thing to say, you know what, I have a boss who's after my life all the time and he just ends up screwing my happiness when I go to office every day. It's, you know what, it's okay. Because if somebody doesn't do it, you may not be able to do what you can do. So the leader, the boss, I'm not saying every good boss can be a good leader, or good managers are good boss or good leaders. But if there is one, you're very lucky because finding a good boss or a good leader is the best thing that can happen. He or she may be the most hated person by you, but what you get after a few years, you will not even realize what happened. So I was very young, 21. I had to behave like a boss. I didn't know anything what I was doing, and hence I had no pressure on me to. While I was telling anybody you should do this, I should do it myself first, right? It's not possible that you just keep giving orders to somebody. You gotta do it yourself first. So if I set up a target of as this much revenue I have to earn in a year, when I tell my team this is what my aspiration is, the first their eyes are popping out to ask me, are you capable of doing it yourself first? You know, so you should be so confident, and your eyes should look back and tell your team and say, you know what, I am going to do this first time. You don't have to tell me this. So huge responsibility when you are on top of that. Selling my vision, I often tell people, you guys are going to go for a lot of interviews, or you will take interviews tomorrow in life. I think for me, it's always been the opposite. If I've liked a person, more than that person trying to be part of my company, I have tried to make him believe in the vision of the company. Because if you don't believe what you're joining in the company for, how will you give it your best? Every company has its own good and bad sides. Whatever brand you pick up, they have something that you really like, something you may not like. It could be anything. But if you understand their vision, if you believe that this makes sense, this company has this founder or this manager that I'm going to report to, is something that he can teach me every day, go for it. So I have sold my vision to my team members because then only those 40 to 500 have become. And sometimes it's not the easiest thing, because people don't understand what you're trying to do, and you have all sorts of people. So I've gone for interviews and people sometimes have come and told me, I asked them, what do you know about PMR? Oh, I just got a call from a consultant, I don't know what you do. So what are you doing here then? So you need to be very prepared of why you're joining a certain company. Have a little understanding of what do they stand for. Ask questions to your employer also. No problem, there's never a problem. There's always going to be a time when he's going to ask you, do you have any questions for me? Please ask, it's not wrong. He's also trying to get the good guys in the company. Because if they don't get good guys, it's their loss too. So be confident when you go out for an interview. It's not just you who has to tell themselves to have you. They also need to be confident to get you in their work. So I had to sell my vision to my team members. So this is something I encountered a lot. That's why I put it. Otherwise, I don't believe in this whole male dominance. I think there's nothing called male dominance. We will give that context to that thing. But I wanted to put this because certain kinds of work are very prototyped. In fact, थोड़ा सा आप नहीं है. 10 years back थोड़ा ज़्यादा था, और शायद उससे पहले और ज़्यादा था. Obviously, it's getting better. But some things are very, very prototyped. This is what a woman should do. This is what your men should do. So if you look at a lot of industries today and startups coming up, women are more around the brands of luxury, fashion, clothing, furniture, which people associate women with, softer and more delicate stuff, and men are the ones who are doing the more harder stuff that apparently is hard. I think we do the most hardest. When we shift families or homes, we interact with the guy who's moving, his wife, his kids, his servant, his driver. Everybody has opinions. आपका बंदा आया था वो पैक करने, लेकिन उसको तो कुछ आता ही नहीं था. He's a driver, he has an opinion. So some gentleman would have come. But how does it make a difference? Because I can't deal with labour, of course I can. I can't deal with transport, of course I can. There's nothing you can't deal with. They're people, right? They're humans. You have to have your right code of conduct on how you deal with people. I've lived in South India alone, when I didn't know the language. Because I wanted to set up my office there. I lived in Maharashtra, in a place like Pune, where there's so much union problems. That's when I say it was such a male-dominated society, because when you go out there, people are not expecting you. And when they see you there, they're not very happy with that. So my competition or the companies that do this thing have all very senior male members. Hence I put this that it was a challenge in some way, because even when I go out there to raise money now, the first question is, what if when you have kids? I mean, I just got married last year. So the first question before that was when you get married. What are you going to do after that? Now that questions are not answered question because I'm still working. But the next question is what happens when you have kids? So it's both ways, right? Today I think women have smarter ways to handle those kind of situations. So I'm going to create this small creche in my office for all the women who have babies and they can enjoy doing both. Why not? I think women, if they are not into the leadership positions, how will they create new thoughts and new ideas? So somebody has to do those things. This was one of those things. I've spoken about labor intensive. So India is a very challenging country. I think the biggest challenge I've had after the one I will talk about is the biggest, but the second is the diversity of India. If you plan to be in a setup which is pan-India, Chennai is as challenging as China. A North Indian and a South Indian, to make them work together, to make them work in cooperation with each other, is like being India and Pakistan. It's that challenging. So I've always, one thing I've encountered, if you go to Mumbai, you're like a Delhi in Mumbai. When you go to South India, you're like a North Indian and a South Indian. Suddenly you both go out of, you both go to UK, if it's in India and Pakistan, you both are Asians. When you go to USA, then you're like an Indian. So I think the more you're out of India, you're more Indian. When you're in India, I'm Brahmin, I'm UP, I'm North Indian, I eat only this and dress like this. We are living in the United States of India. So many different things. It's a challenge. When you grow a career in life, you will travel. Please travel. Please never say no to travel. It's so important. Get a job that makes you travel. Get a job that makes you learn and know people, because nothing teaches you more than traveling. So I think this is one thing which was a challenge. When I was very young, right, I didn't understand also what were people trying to actually say sometimes, and what was there too many politics going on here. And plus, the whole system of a certain city is very different. If you fix an appointment in Mumbai and you say I'm home 11 o'clock, traffic, right? If you're setting up an appointment in Delhi, say okay, 11 o'clock. Even if you reach at 11 o'clock, the guy will meet you only at 12 because he thinks he's too important and he doesn't want to meet you on time. He's going to make himself big. If you go to a South Indian city, they don't care what time you want to meet. If you go to Calcutta, they don't want to meet you. I'll be the person. That'll be the person. So you have these challenges. Making a global brand. I never wanted PMR to be a global brand. So we are the only aviation company that does the entire end-to-end aviation across the world. So if you want to move to Sweden and you want to find a house there, you want to settle down, you want to take your pet there, you want to get an orientation of the city, you want a translator, we give you everything. If you name a country you want to move, we'll take you there. That's what we do. Setting process functions, because when you're unorganized setup, you don't have a company out there who's done things the right way, you don't know how to start your processes. So when I came in, my dad had good processes, but they were only good enough for 40 people. When you grow, the more you grow, you need to set things right, because if you don't have systems and processes and policies right, you don't know what direction people are moving. So if you don't have a system, X says something, Y says something, A says something, B says something. All in different directions. So put people together is very important. Hence you need to have something that people, all of them need to follow together. So being in HR, it's the most important thing. If you don't have system or you don't have a policy or you don't have a process in place, you cannot tell people whether what they are doing is right or wrong. So this was a challenge. And then the biggest people. Nothing bigger, more challenging. Can anybody want to share something that they've encountered while they were, since you guys are students from the human resource department, something that you want to share that you've read somewhere in terms of people had challenges in a certain organization in terms of adjusting or vice versa, something that you want to share?
As a personal example, let me say, like, I'm from Calcutta. So, when I came to Delhi, like, first I moved out of city and moved out of Calcutta, properly moved. So, I got a kind of a culture shock coming here. So,
I'm glad you moved. I'm glad you picked up.
yeah, it was high time to get out of there. It was like being stuck in the same video game again. So, yeah, getting used to North Indians compared to the kind of people I'm used to in Calcutta was pretty an interesting challenge. I'm still trying to deal with it.
Deal with them because I'm in the class, you were deal with.
North Indians. They've taught me.
But you have learned in Bangla, that's more important.
I think Rohan would be the one who teach me better Bangla.
Is it Punjabi or Punjabi?
No, I learned Punjabi from them.
You don't know how to speak Bengali.
एक मिनट में बोलते
Then you are not qualified to be.
I'm not a Bengali. I'm from Kolkata.
I was born in Delhi.
Okay.
So I know what you see. I came here when I was in class 1, so way back. Yeah, but yeah, so general people, I think my biggest difficulty challenge with people because there are too many things that happen. Every day is a challenge. You don't know what somebody has. Somebody has a personal problem, somebody has a professional problem with somebody they are working, somebody has just got no problem but they want to make a problem. Somebody is just, they think that they are doing everything in the certain company, nobody else does anything else. So people is the most challenging aspect you will ever find. And how to deal with people, nobody teaches. You have to keep observing, learning, absorbing and adapting. But never run away from this. I think it's so important to face situations. If you have a problem with somebody, it's not important that you have to give it back to that person all the time. Because when you will become a leader, when you will become a senior, or you will have a team under you, you cannot keep giving back to your juniors, right? Or you can't, if you have 3-4 people under you, you need to balance them out because they will always have a problem. It's not possible, when you are in a certain house, you have difference of opinions. Never run away from it. It's so important to know what is happening and why that is happening, and it's important to figure out and try to solve it in your style. So everybody has their own style of doing some things. Like I have a very passive style. I like to talk. Some people sort of fight and get done with it. But just But yeah, just face that. It's like, I think this was the biggest challenge, and I think I'm recently proud enough to say that most of, I think 90% of people in my office are regular to me, and I think I've done a decent job of managing. Especially when I joined, 100% were regular to me. I think they did a good job to believe in who I am, because it's so important that they believed in me. Otherwise, they would never work for me. If you have no critics, you likely have no success. When I say people, it's important to have both your well-wishers, your people who appreciate you, who always praise you, but it's so important to have critics. You guys, as friends, ever have sat down and given feedbacks to your friends? You have? Has the person taken feedback well? Yes? No. The first rule of a critic and a feedback: never give it back. Somebody tells you, what, you could do this. तुझे तो कुछ नहीं पता, तू क्यों बोल रहा? तुम भी तो ऐसे करते हो. You cannot give back a feedback. It's not a retaliation process. Take feedback. tells you you're doing something wrong doesn't mean you are doing something wrong. But if he gives you an opinion, you can always go back and think about it and say, I've got this feedback. Is it really that I'm doing this? You never know, you will just be surprised that you accepted and you've changed yourself. And we are very young, right? Including myself. We have a lot of things we need to change every day. Critics are very important. It could be a mom, it could be a dad, it could be a friend, it could be anybody who has to sit down and give you feedback. Take it. It's as good as taking a prize. Feedback. Criticism. Take it. So why I chose to be an entrepreneur? So I think I read something somewhere. Your energy introduces you before you speak. How you shake your hands, how you what's your body language, what's your eye contact. These are those things that sort of introduce you to who you are even before you say your name. So, always remember this. 3 question theory for being an entrepreneur that I asked myself before I joined when I joined my dad, it was more like, okay, I wanted to help him. But the moment I got in there, I think I definitely had the answers for these 3 questions. Because if I didn't have these answers, I knew I was not doing the right thing. So I have this 3 question theory that every entrepreneur should ask themselves. And if you have answered that, please go for it. What am I going to do that's going to change the way things are done in certain places? It could be anything that you want to do. But what is that you want to do that is impactful? Is it already there? Is it already making an impact? If it is, then you put up differently. If you don't have the answer for that what which is very strong, that urges you every day, then you can't be doing your own thing then. Why? Why am I doing something? Is it because I have to do this? Somebody has told me to join my dad and I have to. No. Why? Because I love moving families. The moment an expat calls and says, Aakanksha, your team did a great job, I'm so happy studying in US today because your guys came and they were on time, they did this, that. I get this adrenaline rush in me. I say, I have this thing that I say, okay, awesome, well done. It's so important to have that. I always tell my dad, the day I don't enjoy moving families or relocating families or the space, I don't do it. Whatever happens, if I'm not excited every morning to start going to work to do this, I will not do this. Be honest, what do you enjoy? Very, very important. If you don't enjoy what you do, you'll screw up things for sure. Guaranteed. So, why do you do something? For who? For yourself? If you would do a job tomorrow, who would you do it? Okay, job is a different story. But maybe if you run a company, if you have a business that you start, for whom are you going to do this? For your own self? You can say if you want to, it's fine. For your own self, how many? Nobody, I'm sure you guys are lying. Yes, you do yourself, right? What's the drive you? Why would you want to do your own thing?
That would be something that would make me happy.
Okay.
Because I believe that there are no selfless needs.
Okay, I take that point. And anybody else?
Obviously, if you have a dream, you need to fulfill it, you need to work towards it. So to fulfill your dream or something.
Okay. So very big myth of being an entrepreneur. You forget doing things for yourself. The end result, yes, is related to you. But when you get into an office, hardly a minute did you get for yourself. You're lost somewhere amongst problems that are going on. You know why I got into this industry or why I got become an entrepreneur? Because when I wake up every morning, I get a feeling that there are 500 families who are supported by us. Those 500 houses are running because of PMR doing well. 500 families that take salary from us or from PMR are able to run their life, and that's something that drives me. I want to make that 500 to 5,000 one day. Because I think it's for me, it's personally for me. I believe that my intent of being an entrepreneur is the fact that it gives me a big high and a big satisfaction when I see that I can look after something. So when you're an entrepreneur, you sometimes because there are things that your company will need before you need for yourself. Your company will need your time more than you need it for yourself. Your family may not get as much time as your company may need it for. So, I'm respectable to the thing that you say that I understand, it's about your satisfaction in the end. That's something you'll get. A lot of it. When you look at yourself in the mirror every night, you will say, good job. Because you know that you've been honest to your day and your work. But it's good to have that for also, right? Because it's important to have some kind of angle to why you're doing something. Thinking that if I do this, I'm living my dream. Yes, but with time you will also find those people from whom you want to live that dream. Your employees, your suppliers, your people, your society, your clients. There are so many people who are stakeholders of that one dream that you have. And you have to be honest to all of that, and then comes to yourself. Anybody wants to say something on this? And you guys agree with what I'm saying, or yeah? And something which I personally feel, it's not that I was told or I felt this towards my life. I've had people in the office who've come and said, women especially, 20,000, 25,000, who are that kind of age, said, my husband doesn't work and I have a child who has to go to office, and my child has to go to school and I'm alone. And so I think when I do all that, is why I'm an entrepreneur today. Because I can do that. I always thank God every day, thank God to give me hands that can give me. To keep that going, to give more. And hence, you'll find your success. I think the reasons have to be very right. I love what I do. I do something which is not already been done by somebody. I made my own space in spite of people telling me you can't do this. Third, people who are with me, I love them a lot. They may not, it's fine, but I do. Right? So as an entrepreneur, you have multiple responsibilities that surround you. It's okay, it's fun, because as I said, you have to have adventures and you have to enjoy it. So right intent in life is important to achieve everything in life. Anything. Why you doing something? For what? Can somebody read this for me? I really like this. Roman, you want to read this for me?
Yes.
Your class.
Your smile is your logo, your personality is your business card, and the way you make others feel is your trademark.
Right? Agree? All of you are going to smile now. Whenever you do anyway. When you go for a job or you have somebody that sort of asks you, all of this talk about it. And not your resume which says you are from Delhi school, which is very impressive, of course. But this is more important. So I always say PMR, that's my PMR. I don't think there's anything else I can put this to. This is me in my office. I love moving, so I always do. This is not the entire thing, but some of it. My dad and my mom are another friends fighting. They are the reasons why I could do so much. This is a good office. Hopefully, we're going to have a lot more people soon. Can anybody else read this for me?
No matter wherever I go, whatever the weather may be, I will bring my own sunshine.
I wrote this once when I was somewhere in Greece on a cruise. I was a one-day cruise. I was alone. I had a day and I went on and I wrote this. And I always say this to myself. Some of the quotes I'm not share which are my own quotes. So, because I realized that it's so important. to light up. It doesn't matter where you are. It could be the worst situation. If you are positive, you will make that. If you go to a company which doesn't have the right systems and processes and you feel like what the hell, if you are right, you will change those things. Don't wait for somebody else to do it. And don't wait for somebody else to tell you to do this. To make life fun and to enjoy your time, you don't need somebody else to do it for you. Simple. You don't expect your senior or your boss or ex-person to tell you. If you can bring in energy in your floor or in your team, please do that. Who's waiting? For whom are you waiting? Have that, because without that you are absolutely spineless. You're just doing something for the heck of doing. Keep looking. What are you passionate about? So 2 things today. What do you dream about and what are you passionate about? Will you guys do it for me? Yes. And maybe if you ever get to meet and talk, tell me about it. Right? Second intent. First thing is passion. I think I mentioned that before, so I'm not going to talk too much, but I clearly have believed that if I don't have an intent, are you okay? So if I don't have an intent for something, I don't think anything is possible. This is something I wrote. Can somebody read this for me? It's some energy. Who's got the most energy in this class? Okay.
I will try.
Okay.
It is just about the strength of your mind and having faith in the intent of your heart. And I can bet when you really do decide for something, your courage will kick ass your fear. Take the plunge and you will see the miracles of life.
And I wrote this at some time when I was very upset about something. I lost a huge contract. Worth some $10 crores. I would have been here and suddenly I came here. I had to go back to my office and tell my team that I don't have this contract anymore. I was sitting alone in Netherlands and I had no idea what to do. I don't have this. And I follow this. Whenever I'm low, there are things that you should always keep it with you when you're low. Because you will find, you will be low at times. And you'll be so low that you have no idea of what to do, where to do. And there are spaces when you'll always be alone. No matter how many support systems you have, things that are personal to you, like your ambition, your passion, your dream, you will be alone when you have to succeed in that. It's a very scary part of it. You can't change that. That happens to everybody. So what goes on inside you is something I'm sharing with you guys. That if you ever go through something, you could read something, listen to music, do something that cheers you up. I write. I do these things. So I said passion, I said intent. Love. You have to fall in love with what you do. Right? Have to have your romantic relationship with your work. Otherwise, you cannot do things that you would anyway do in life, right? Love makes us do things, right? Love with your work will always make you do crazy stuff. I wrote this as well. Can anybody read this for me, please? Yes. Sure.
Love is power like nothing. It can make you do things beyond belief and unconditionally.
Right? Beyond belief. Sometimes you don't know if you could do that, but you do it for your parents, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, or parents do it for children. Unconditional, because they love. Parents do things that we can't even imagine what they've done so much for us, right? So if you fall in love with what you do, you will not believe what you did. Changing lives. The fourth one that I believed I have to be in a profession where I can impact lives. I'm a people's person throughout. I was a president of my college choreography society. I was the president of my placement society. I was the head of the cultural event mecca in my college in third year, and I did become honors also. So I think it's so important that I have always people around me, and I could impact lives. And I'm glad I'm in a profession I can. When I move people, I'm impacting families. When I'm hiring people, I'm impacting lives. So it's so important to change lives. At least make an effort to bring some changes. I mean, there are people in my office, women who said, I'm getting married, I'm scared if I can work after. I said, why not? Tell me what you need from me. And then I'm very proud of the fact that there are women who thought they could not even do an X amount of work. Today they are doing sales, they're doing marketing, they're out there, they're getting to communicate. So it's not important that you have to know it all. It's okay to not know it all. But if your senior or your boss or your leader is a believer in you, you can improve and change. And you need to do that the same for your colleagues and juniors as well, and friends as well. You could change lives of your friends sometimes by being real honest to them. This is what, so this is my team. We do an annual function every year. We have it tomorrow now. It's our birthday tomorrow. And we are having an event in our office where everybody has to do something. So people are dancing, they are doing a play, they are singing, they are performing. I have to still decide what I have to do, but you guys are doing a lot of things. This is one of the annual day, and can somebody read this for me? Yeah, sure.
When you walk into my office and when you leave for the day, between this should be the learning and fun you should have never experienced.
I say this to my team. When you walk into my office, when you leave for the day, between this time of the day should be the learning and fun you've never experienced. As an HR, you guys are going to do that. People should come into the office and when they leave, they should be hating to leave office. They should be loving to come to office. You gotta do that, right? Enhanced experiences. I always say my wealth is my experience. The wealth is not what you own. The wealth is not your house. For me personally, wealth is not my car. It's my experiences. Nobody can take this away from me. Can anybody? My wealth is my experience. These are 5 things that what did I say? Passion? Love. Changing others. These are mine. It could be different for you guys. You have something that you believe in, and that those beliefs should be rock solid. Right? Can somebody else read this for me? This is a summary of my commandments. Somebody from there? Yeah, please.
Time can change a lot of things, situations, circumstances, but it can never take away your will, courage, and determination to chase your dreams. It can make or break you, but can't stop you.
Right? You'll feel sick, you'll feel low about yourself, but if you decide I can't stop, you can't stop. Right? I wanted to put this specifically because when I say success, no success is possible without sacrifices and beliefs. Sometimes not yours or people around. Sometimes, I wrote this when I got married, It's so important that when you are successful, what you're doing for your life, more than you, it's people around you who sacrifice a lot of their time. I think it's more sacrifices by my parents or my husband now, my family that I'm into, that make me who I am because they let me be. So you should always be thankful and gratitude of what's given you around you. No successful person in this world can say it's their own success. There's so many people who have given that time and commitment to that. You guys agree? When you guys have exams, your parents and your mother is as much around you as you are working, more than you in fact. My mother used to wake up at 5 a.m. every time I had an exam to wake me up. And just not go to sleep because if she thought if she sleeps, I may just sleep. So, and I was very particular of waking up early to do my revision. I used to always do that in school, college, every time. 4:30 I used to wake up. So wake up at 4:30, not sleep till 7, then make me breakfast, make me lunch, go to office, come back, ensure that I'm getting lunch. I think she worked more hard. She worked as much hard as I did. I think you have to be respectful of all that. Because you're not successful alone, ever. Remember that. Take a lot of time. So this is very crisp, short. So when I say 7 lines of success, people say success is sweet, but sometimes there are things that don't happen your way, so you should always take it in your stride. First one is everything happens for a purpose and serves us. Always. It's a truth. It's not yarn, it's a truth. Always something better will happen. If you don't get your first job, it's fine. If you don't make your first interview good, in fact it's better because you know that you've gone wrong. Don't worry, you'll be fine. There is no such thing as failure, there are only results. Always results. Nothing. Remove the word failure from your dictionary. Can you do that for me, guys? Never say I failed. I learned today. And we'll do again. That's okay. Right? Whatever happens, take responsibility. You can't say, इसने बोला है इसलिए मैंने किया. He said that's why I did this. I take responsibility in my life. I will decide what I do in my life, and I will be responsible. You don't need to understand everything to you. It's okay. You know things. You don't have to do everything. If you know every formula of maths, it doesn't need to be put on every exam, right? It's okay. You know it. Glad you know it, right? People are your greatest resource. I've talked about people. Work is play, fun, very important. There is no success without commitment. Yeah, I want to talk about slightly about this. So, guys, HR. My experience I'm an SME, I'm not an SME, I'm not a startup, but I have equal challenges like a startup has because we are still a small organization. We are not the MNCs of the world which have hundreds of systems and somebody comes and goes, it doesn't really matter. For us, everything matters if we want a company. And HR is the face of what I believe to my team. You guys are all going to be somewhere down the line, maybe in HR. Always remember the kind of things you can do nobody else can. HR sometimes is a very thankless job. It's okay. The best of the jobs of the world are thankless. Even being a CEO is a very thankless job. People when they leave, they just put in their resignation and go and they do not care. You know. It's okay. But you can make a lot of changes. You should always know that, and it's not just the books that's going to tell you that this is how you can define it, this is what you can do. Stick to your personality who you are. Bring that personality to work. Bring that thought process to work. And you will see how much you can change around you. Today's times, the companies are growing at a massive pace. If the HR is not strong, nothing will work, nothing will survive. If you don't get the right talent in the company, the right people, the right kind of people, the companies will not become a good brand. You guys are the real resource every boss should be very, very proud of. So be very proud that you're going to be an HR. When I joined, I had no idea what HR does. I went to these sites and saw how does it work. Right. Anybody wants to talk about this or ask me something about this? So just the last, the 5. So there are 5 C's of marketing. There are a lot of P's and C's and all. I have put my 5 C's of management. Create active environment. Create empowered workforce, not workplace. Create brand value. Create talent. Change perception. The 5 C's. These are not textbook C's. These are my 5 C's. And these are everything from my learning every day. You can do all of this. Even if you don't do all this, you're not done enough. These are the 5 things that I might need these 5. If you do this, all good. Because people will talk good, bad about your company. But you need to change that perception. Nobody is perfect, no organization is perfect. You are not perfect. I'm not perfect. We all can be improved. Right? Any questions and answers? General questions. I took a lot of your time, so sorry for that. Last thing I want to say, it's very, very important to enjoy your life. Enjoy. Period. Full stop. Everything else will follow. And get your love and your intelligence. Right? There's a video I want to show you guys. It's a 1-minute video before we expect. Okay. When you fall on your face, what do you do? Has anybody seen this video before? Can you see it, guys?
Yes.
Isn't that cool? Okay, guys. Great. Anything that you guys want to talk about? The last slide has my email ID, right?
Yeah.
Shall I?
Move to the next slide.
No matter how you feel, get up, dress up, show up, and it's me. In case you guys want to reach out, ever. And I hope you guys have a great life ahead and good career. And I hope it's something that you've taken back with this. Was it fun?
Yes.
Was it
Very
like
interesting.
boring? Yeah.